All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chib from Gunner Eagle Eye coming to you again with a brand new preview. It's a big game, so I've got some guests on to do this preview. That's right. I've got Robby, I've got Ola, and I've got Lee on with me. Say hello to the people, boys.
How you doing, people?
What's happening, yo?
Yeah, they're much cooler than me, aren't they? I just go like, hello, how are you?
It's good to be back in this motherfucker.
I'm just trying to be nice. We're about to splat you boys tomorrow night. I'm just trying to be nice.
Oh, boy. Let's get into it. Let's get into it.
You're in our house tonight, man. Behave yourself.
Hold on. First of all, before we get into the football shit and before the rivalry comes out, you boys, all of you boys, on in a while. So how are you guys? How you doing? You good?
Let Lee go first.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm good. Apart from some technical difficulties with my channel.
See, it's not just me. I'm not the only one that has technical.
Mate, trying to run the YouTube channel off an iPhone 6 just ain't cutting it. I need a MacBook. So if anyone's watching this that wants to donate me a MacBook, yeah, right. Or if there's anyone who wants to sponsor me by giving me a MacBook, yeah.
You get a MacBook off my channel. Me and you are gonna have to have some words. I don't know what.
Yeah, man. Seriously, I'm having dramas trying to do a banner at the back. Obviously, Chris, you've been trying to help with that, and you're having dramas with it as well. So yeah, it's not good. But yeah, New Year, I'm getting a Mac.
To be honest with you, boys, if you're going to do it, and you guys are doing really well, let's be honest, and your content is really, really good, because, like, I'm a Liverpool fan, and I watch Arsenal channels. That's
because we're box office, man.
Look at these guys, fucking deteriorate. I can't even speak. Look at these guys' mental health deteriorate, all because of Wenger and fucking Sanchez and fucking Ozil and Kroenke. Yeah, it's funny. Laugh at the fucking Arsenal fans. I'm kidding. I'll talk to you boys offline and see what I can do to help in terms of sussing out your channels and that.
Nice one, man.
We know people. We'll be all right. We know people.
Sit there.
All right.
So yeah, it's just been work, grinding, trying to fucking get that money on the table. You know how it is. It ain't easy this time of the year. But what have we got to keep us all going? We all got football to keep us going and that. So yeah, we're near the promised land, which is Christmas. Once that day goes past, then everybody can come back to reality. But I know a lot of people that are getting into debt just to spend it on this one fucking day. Mm-hmm. God damn, I hate Christmas. I'll tell you that now. And the last few years with Arsenal games during Christmas, they ain't helped neither. You know, I could go back maybe 2, 3, 4 seasons during Christmas where Arsenal's like literally absolutely ruined it. But hopefully we'll see if they can give us a good one this year, you know. So
yeah. How about you, Rob?
I'm busy as a motherfucker. I'll be honest with you, boys. I'm going to swear a lot. I should warn people on the YouTube. I'm going to swear a lot tonight, and there ain't what you can do about it. It's like kicking me off the hangout. So I'm with you though. Bruv. It's a tough time of year, man. It's a tough time of year. Everyone wants to give presents. Everybody wants to receive presents. Those that celebrate Christmas, obviously, some people don't, or Hanukkah, or the New Year, or whatever it is. But by fuck, I didn't vote for Brexit, and I understand why a lot of people did. But fuck me, as things got more expensive in the last sort of 18 months since we voted for Brexit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, even a can of Coke is now £1.10 in the West Country. That's not like London prices.
It's horrible.
You know what I mean? Like, that's fucked up. I'm still old. I'm old enough to remember when you could go into the local shop and with 50p, you could 50p, not 50b, 50 pennies.
I was gonna say, which part of the country do you live in?
I live down in Bath.
Spending. Yeah. Oh, 50, right. That explains.
Back in the day, 50p would have got me a can of Pepsi and a Mars bar. All right, and I would have been sweet, happy as a clam.
Not no more, man.
I can't even get a Mars bar for 50p.
That's just the price of the VAT on the actual fucking product. You know what I mean?
Exactly right.
Craziness, man. But Lee, So people's been donkey punching the hell out of your phone, donkey punching. They've been confounding the likes of your. Now the phone's mash up. Technical difficulties everywhere. Yo, you got to upgrade, man. If anybody's watching, GoFundMe page. That's what you need. You need that GoFundMe page.
I love you, bro. I love you.
Hold on, where's my GoFundMe page? What bullshit is this?
Hey, listen, don't do like that nasty cunt in Australia did, where she went, "I've got cancer," and she didn't have cancer, and next thing you know, she's got a fucking huge car.
Boy, this is just for Mac Pro, man. You know what I mean? No such thing as that. Yeah, man. Let's go.
But, anyway, all right. That's why we're all here. This is why we're all here. Going into the game now, me and my boy at work, we have like a real heated debate, right? As soon as he saw me, he said, "Listen, let's just be honest. We're gonna spank you guys at the Emirates. Right? We're gonna spank you guys at the Emirates." Like he's got amnesia. Like we get beaten at the Emirates every single week. Before he left, 4-0. That's what it's going to be, 4-0, right? Now, Robby, let me get your take on Arsenal, because I know what Lee thinks about Arsenal with dog shit. About Arsenal with dog shit. What is your take on Arsenal's season so far?
I would definitely say that the malaise from last season is still there. It's frustrating, because I like Arsenal. I've always liked Arsenal because, well, since Wenger came, I've liked Arsenal simply because they play a really nice brand of football, and I've enjoyed that and I appreciate that. And yeah, you're seeing, it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts watching Arsenal sometimes. You can't really, well, you probably can put a finger on it, can't you? Like I've been doing a little bit of research and reading about this German guy they brought in to do transfers, and he seems to be definitely, causing a bit of trouble. That's fine. I think, like, in terms of Özil, a player that I really, really like, and I always have liked him. I think that because it's so difficult to get into that Germany squad for the World Cup, you have seen his performances improve, principally against those lesser teams. That's fair enough,
So you actually think it's more to do with getting in the World Cup squad as opposed to going for a move
in the market, isn't he? Let's be honest,
Yeah, I didn't even think about the World Cup. That's a fair point,
listen, you got to do what you got to do. Conversely, I remember talking to you and I said, is it worth losing 60 million on Sanchez to get you into the Champions League next year? And, that's the kind of question that you generally find teams that are struggling for relegation around Christmas and the board go, is it worth giving this guy 50, 60 million to spend on players to keep us in the Premier League? And I know that's a bit of a weird analogy, but it's definitely something that's happened. The other thing that I would say is the majority of the signings in the summer have come off. I like Lacazette, but he's a fox in the box kind of a player, and I think we all knew that he needs somebody up there to support him. In many ways, he's much like Sturridge. He's a confidence player. He needs to feel like he's the star man, and currently that doesn't appear to be the case. I like Giroud. I don't like how he behaves outside of the game, but on the pitch,
he's got a great record against you guys.
Yeah, he's injured, isn't he? So I'm delighted about that. But they don't tend to play Giroud and Lacazette together very often, and I'm not really sure if, in terms of the balance of the side, it's in my opinion, it should be all about Lacazette. It should be about, he is our star man, and we'll build the team around him. Because if not, you and I realistically know what will happen. In 2 years' time, he'll be gone. After the World Cup, some sides might be sniffing around, like Atletico Madrid, who coveted him for ages. And until they had that ban, it didn't look like Arsenal were even in the running to get him, really. Let's be honest. And Defensively, going to a back three, I think has worked, particularly against some of the lesser teams, your Bournemouths or your Stokes. That's been good. I think Nacho Monreal's played very, very well. For me, the biggest problem that Arsenal have had this season and last season remains the same thing, that they miss the little Spanish general in the middle of the pitch. And I don't know if we're ever going to get him back playing at the highest level. But they have really, really missed Santi. They've really, really missed Santi Cazorla. And it's one of those things, as we all know, guys, you don't fully appreciate how good a player is until they're missing for an extended period of time. So that's Arsenal. I think having to play on Thursdays has been really difficult as well for you guys. But okay, the performances haven't been great, but you've just got to get through that dog shit part of the competition, really. So I think that's probably where we are. They are middle of the road. If you gave them a mark out of 10 at this point, nearly halfway through the season, they're a solid 7. The issue is there's 3 or 4 teams above them that are consistently 8 or 9. So that's kind of where I see Arsenal at the moment anyway. Still a good team. We'll still beat those donkey teams at the bottom. But it's just not quite there in terms of balance of the team.
To be honest, you're more generous towards Arsenal than any of us would be. I know that.
Yeah, I of course I will be, because they're not my team, are they? But I do look at it from a different perspective, don't I? So I understand. I understand the passion. I understand the anger. I understand the frustration. And if it was my team, I would share that. Absolutely, I would. But because it's not my team, I can look at it from a different perspective. What I do realise is that Arsenal supporters, quite rightly, have enormously high standards. That is a big part of his legacy. That's a big part of Wenger's legacy, is that there is a generation of supporters, you guys represent that expect Arsenal to be top 4, challenging for the title every single season. And if they're not, or if they're just on the cusp of that, it's totally understandable that you'd not be happy, because Liverpool fans are exactly the same. We really are. We got that draw with Everton the other week. It was the end of the fucking world because we drew with Everton.
Okay.
And I'm going to come back to that. We fucking spanked the living piss out of them.
I'm going to come back to
we fucked them hard. And they got a load of penalties.
Come back to Everton.
Yeah, that's actually what I want to talk to you about, Everton. You were very worried about them at the start of the season.
I know what you're going to say when I come back to Everton. Liverpool. Lee, I know your opinion on Arsenal. So let's park that for a second. Right? Now, I've always viewed Liverpool, to be honest, to be a northern version of us. Lots of attacking potential, and there's always this expectation from at least the fan base, and it never kind of quite transpires in reality. What is your opinion on Liverpool as a whole, as a club?
I think you pretty much nailed it. They're the northern version of us. They're a nearly team. They nearly challenge. They nearly win. They nearly won the title a few seasons ago. Yeah, we won't talk about the slip or anything like that.
It's fine. I'm all right about it.
Although that wasn't the reason they lost the title.
No,
it was Crystal Palace that they lost the title against. Yeah, that was the game. But I look at Liverpool as they buy as much shit players as we do. Yeah, that's how I look at it. They are pretty much a carbon copy of us, but from the north, like you said. They, in my opinion, have a good manager. Not sure if every Liverpool fan goes with that, but that, in my opinion, he's a good manager. He's better than Arsene Wenger for a start.
You don't buy this fact that he's the new Wenger, like a lot of idiots.
No chance. Listen, they're fantastic to watch going forward, right? Their Achilles heel is exactly the same as ours, and that is defending. Without the ball, sometimes they're brilliant, and they do this Gengen press or whatever they want to call it, yeah? And they are a joy to watch at times, right? but so are we. And if you compare the two seasons, right, they have been up and down just as much as us, if not more. They've gone and spanked teams 7-0, but then they'll go and lose, or like Robbie just said, they'll go and dominate Everton and then concede a penalty, and walk out the game 1-0. And that is Liverpool. Yeah, that to me is what Liverpool have been for the last 15 years. A team that are good to watch, but never quite do enough to get over the line to actually go and win it. They don't spend anywhere near enough money to challenge. Similar to us, they'll go and spend all their money on attackers and forget defending. Similar to us,
they have a dickhead American owner like we do.
Same as us. The only thing that's different between the two is their fans at their ground are unbelievable. I went to Anfield and I witnessed from the stands that 4-0 drubbing, and I swear now, right, Liverpool, Anfield was the loudest football ground I've ever been in. Yeah, and I had goosebumps. Like when they're singing that "Never Walk Alone," all their banners are coming down, their scarves are up. Yeah, mate, they were so loud. Yeah, and you know, I was gutted we lost 4-0, but you know, I'd never been to Anfield before. Yeah, I'm not one of these that wants to claim they were at Anfield in '89 like the other 300 million that do. Right, I wasn't there. Yeah, but that was an unbelievable atmosphere that day. Yeah, and I know they went on to win the game, and it was the loudest stadium I've ever been in. When we went to Everton a few weeks later, or a couple of months, whenever it was, that was one of the quietest stadiums I've ever been in. Yeah, and
same city.
Yeah, same city. A park separates both grounds. You can see Anfield from Goodison and vice versa. Yeah, and it was just completely different. But that says where the two clubs are currently, right? But I don't dislike Liverpool at all. I actually quite like Liverpool. I quite like some of their players. I quite like some of their players. I think with Mane, they've got one of the best players in the league. Coutinho, in my opinion, is overrated. Always has been.
I agree with that.
But I also put him in the same. I put Coutinho in the same. And people are going to mug me right off for saying this, right? I put him in the same bracket of player or players as Eden Hazard, right? Overrated, does it whenever he wants, but when he does do it, he's fucking unbelievable. Yeah, but he's not consistent enough to be considered world class. Yeah,
or 133 million worth.
No chance, mate. Liverpool should have snapped their arm off for that. That ain't coming again. You are not getting that money again. Right? And like so similar with Hazard. Chelsea fans rave on about he's the best. He's up there with Messi and Ronaldo. He ain't even the best player at Chelsea, and Coutinho's not the best player at Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, they've got some fantastic players. Firmino, in my opinion, is underrated. You know, people mug him off, say he looks like a lesbian and this and that, yeah, right? But he is a fucking good footballer, like really good footballer. And I think he's better than Coutinho. He's not as good as Mane. But defensively is where Liverpool always seem to struggle. Yeah, even the season they nearly won the title a few years back, they were unreal going forward, but they conceded 50-odd goals. You ain't ever winning a title conceding 50 goals. Yeah, if you want to win a title, you've got to have a solid back four or five, whatever they go with now. You've got to have a top draw goalkeeper, and every single player in that team has got to be on it every single week. And I just think that yes, they're fantastic at times, but they can capitulate just as much as anyone in that league, including the teams like Swansea and the lesser teams. And we're in the same category. We're fantastic going forward at times. But, you know, our fans rave on about we had 33 shots against Man United and we were fantastic and we were great. We lost 3-1. Yeah. And us and Liverpool are put on about the same sort of level at the minute. Similar in size in terms of club and stuff like that and fan base. I put them above us because they've won in Europe multiple times. But yeah, that's where I'm at with Liverpool right now. Yeah, 5 more than us.
Ola, let me ask you a different. I'm asking you all different questions because I'm about to ask you all the same question in a minute. Ola, who do you think ultimately going to finish higher out of Liverpool and Arsenal? In all honesty, strip back your pessimism for 1 sec and really judge it. Higher out of the
two. Based on what we've seen this season, like Lee and Robby's said, you know, we're both similar in some of the things that we're doing. Yeah, they've got this Fab Four that I've been hearing about all day. But Liverpool, they remind me of that cartoon character called Johnny Bravo. got all muscles at the top and skinny legs. And that's Liverpool. Because so, and if you look at what we've done this season so far at home, we've been sublime. I wouldn't say sublime, but our record at home has been really good. Yeah. And if you look at Liverpool's away record, they're the same as us at home. They've got the same sort of record at home. Their record at Anfield this season ain't been so good. It's been as poor as our away record. And that's why we're on about the same sort of points. If you look at the reason why Liverpool really finished above us last season, they finished above us by 1 point. But our home and away fixtures, we gave them 6 points. That ultimately decided where Liverpool was going to finish. And if we let that happen again this season, giving them home and away points in 6 points, that could ultimately decide where they finish again this season, which means, you know, they could finish above us this season. So really and truly, if I was to pick right now, they probably the favourites going into this game, even considering we're at home and we've got good home record, but because of how we played out last season, we lost to them home and away. We've lost to them away again this season. So playing Liverpool 3 times on the turn of last year and this year, we've given them 9 points. It could about to be 12 if we don't get our act together tomorrow. You know, so they're strong. They're strong. You know, they're moving in strong going into this game, but I don't want to count us out. Otherwise, why are we fans? You know, so I think for me, it ultimately really depends on whether we claw back these 3 points tomorrow that we give them first, second game of the season. And you know, that first, second game of the season, I have to say, as much as I want to write it off, it was too much of a battering to write off. Because if you lose a 1-2-0 and then say, okay, mitigating circumstances with Ox, his mind not being in it, certain players wanted to go and whatever was going on in the back room, you could say, okay, you know what I mean, right? But a 4-0 battering is a hard result to swallow. And, you know, it's just one that you keep going back to. Yeah, because every time I go back to why we finished outside the top 4 last season, I couldn't help but go back to the 6 points we gave to Liverpool. I can't help, especially when they finished 1 point above us. I can't help but go back to, you know what I mean? It's hard to look past it. It's so hard to look past it. And I don't want us to end up in the same sort of situation. I mean, if they finish above us this season off their own back by winning multiple games, and if we say we beat them tomorrow and they've took 3 points off us, we've took 3 points off them, and then what we'll do will be at the end of the season in terms of where we finish, whether they finish above us, then it's much more, it's more acceptable. You can kind of accept it a little bit that, look, you know what, they've gone and won it off their own back, not we gift wrap it to them, put a ribbon on it, dress like Santa Claus, as I always say, and just give them the bloody, you know, top 4 position. So, you know, it's at this moment in time, it's hard to call because You know, there's only one or 2 points between us. This game could really decide it. I know it's still a long way to go. We're halfway through the season there, but this game is significant. You know, it's a very, very significant game, and I think both teams will be up for it. So, to answer the question that you asked, it's a hard one to call. So I'm not going to make no decisions on that just yet till after tomorrow's game. After tomorrow's game, I'll see. You know, it'll be a little bit more clearer. So sorry, I'm a bit on the not on the fence, but I've got reasons for being like that. So I want to see, you know, where we're actually at when we play Liverpool. See if our head is back into hunting for this top 4 or not. With Liverpool,
you got a cushion for that fence you can say, man. Don't worry about it.
Right.
The only thing I would say is that I do really like your point about the fact that, you know, when you said something, you said on the lines of, oh, well, you know, I don't want to be too negative because otherwise what's the point being fans? And I think that's an excellent point.
Yeah.
Often have a negative outlook on Arsenal, particularly when I can see that there's no progress being made. I notice about things like Twitter and YouTube, especially since running a YouTube channel, is that a lot of the time you'll hear people that come onto my channel or tweet at me and they'll say some shit like,
"Bro, you've been getting it hard."
Yeah, what's the point? We're going to lose anyway. I don't even know why you bother. What the fuck? So I'm a fan. I at least will try and think optimistically.
That's right.
Let's just say we're facing Man City next season for the Champions League final, do you really think I'm going to say, oh, what's the point? We may as well give up. You know, Man City are going to batter us. No.
I tell you what,
I want to be deluded enough to think that we can do it.
Chig, we was in that same boat.
Honestly, it pisses me off.
We was in that same boat. Semi-finals of the FA Cup last season, finals of the FA Cup last season. Everyone discounted us. But all the fans that went there and all the fans that watched, we were the only ones that was backing us because we're fans.
You have to believe.
You know what I mean? You have to be. You have to have some kind of hope, some level of hope for your team, some level of belief.
Oh, what's the point? You know, we're gonna finish bottom of the table. Oh, cool. All right, then I might as well just forget watching Arsenal. I might as well go and knit something.
I love Arsenal so much. I've taken up knitting.
Do you know what I mean? Eating that shit at me. It's really pissing me off. Like, of course I'm an Arsenal fan. Listen, I'm negative with you. I want Wenger out too. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to give up every single time we play a fucking match.
Yeah.
People tweet at me that.
I'll move you on that, Chris.
Anyway.
I mean, if Lee could spend 15 quid on a hat at the Emirates, then, you know.
I've still got the receipt. That's going back tomorrow. That's warmed up a little bit. Do you know what I mean? I don't need to keep my ears warm. It's going back tomorrow. Trust me.
Yeah, man. Well, it's all. You're not being a fan. We fans first. Then whatever you get, you know, whatever you do outside of that is secondary. But you know, your primary religion to the game is being a fan first. And you know, we should having that hope, having that belief for your team. It's the first thing you do as a fan. Then the rest comes after. You know,
there's an old saying, boys. It's the hope that kills you. You know,
that's one of my favorites.
It really is, and it's one of those real true things. And again, like, you know, Lee spoke very eloquently and in many ways quite correctly when he was talking about the Liverpool fan base, and he's right. And Liverpool are exactly the same in terms of Arsenal, in terms of this demand for performance, this demand for victory. They don't just want to win; they want to win well. They want to win. They demand a brand of football. Arsenal do that. Newcastle do that. Aston Villa do that. Even
West Brom does that.
Exactly. You know, and you know you can't facilitate for that in the Premiership when they keep. Have you seen that thing that happened a couple of weeks ago? Moyes and what's the bell end that does the dancing that was at Crystal Palace? What's he called? Pardew, Allardyce. All these managers keep going around in circles, getting the same jobs, replacing one another, and all playing shit football. You know, this park the bus mentality is so inherent inside the Premiership. It's fucking horrible. It's fucking horrible. But if you're Arsenal or Liverpool or Man City, and you demand that brand of football, and you want to play enterprising, entertaining football, the way that, as a collection of fans, that's another thing that we all have in common as a group of fans, we demand a brand of football. And everybody, you know, from 12 down is set up to stop us. Everybody parks 2 buses. Everybody wants to block passing lanes. Everybody wants to, you know, play football the wrong way. In my opinion, I appreciate some people are like, oh, I love fucking Roy Hodgson. I love the way he plays football. And, you know, you just make us hard to beat. That's fine. If you're a West Brom fan or a freaking, you know, Crystal Palace fan, and you're happy to pick up 4 points from every 4 or 5 games, fine. But don't expect us to think that A, that's acceptable, B, it's entertaining.
Hey, Robby.
Fucking isn't, is it?
Hey, Robby, I think our ticket prices should reflect the brand of football that we play as well.
Because, I agree. I think that's a great shout.
You know, I think our ticket prices should reflect our brand of football, because you can't go to. You was talking about how a can of Pepsi used to cost you 50p.
Yeah.
Right. And now it's costing an arm and a leg to buy a can of Pepsi. But imagine if you're paying the same price and you're getting as that brand sort of Pepsi.
Yeah.
Would you spit it right back in their face? I said,
yeah, you're absolutely right.
You know what I mean? I want proper Pepsi. I don't want no as that Tesco value. Not that I'm dissing Tesco value. You people that shop Tesco value, do your thing. You know what I mean? I'm a big advocate of it. You know,
the thoughts of Gunner Eagle Eye.
Cut your coat according to your size and all of that. You know, that's me. But what I'm trying to say is, if you're paying a certain amount of ticket price and you demand a certain brand of football, I think you're well within your rights. You know, especially if you're supporting a team in the top tier of football, you know, to demand, you know, exciting brand of football, because our ticket prices should absolutely reflect that.
Yeah, I mean, like Liverpool, obviously, like we built the new stand last season. It's amazing. And there's still something like 30,000 people on the waiting list for season tickets. 30,000 people.
That's incredible.
That want season tickets. And I'm sure that, you know, Arsenal have got a list. I'd imagine it'd be at least 10,000. People are always going to want to come and watch the football, because, you know, that's our tribalist nature in the UK, isn't it? You know, it's a big part of it's inherent in our DNA as football fans, football supporters, that and, you know, as we also know, people vote with their feet, don't they? You know, when things are going tits up, you know, I'll sell my season ticket for this weekend, you know, this or whatever. Loads of people do that. You and I know Arsenal supporters that sell their ticket for the Spurs derby game on the market, and it pays for their season ticket for the next year. That's fine. Right? As far as I'm concerned, that's fine. But you can't, you know, as I said, like, that's part of Wenger's legacy. It's also the same thing with Liverpool is, you know, again, Lee spoke very well about going to Liverpool. There is still a huge collection of Liverpool supporters who are 50 plus, go on the cop every week or every other week when we have a home game. And they just fold their arms like that. They don't sing, and they just say, impress me. And that's a generation that grew up watching the 70s and the 80s team that absolutely dominated. And that's, again, like, they can't help but compare. And it's the same thing, you know, okay, 25 years later, it's the same thing with Arsenal supporters now. And again, in my opinion, it's absolutely fine. If you compare that first 10 years of Wenger with the second 10 years, it's night and day. But you're absolutely right to compare it, because those are the good old days. It's much like when Chris and I talk about wrestling, how many people always ask us about bring back the Attitude Era of wrestling. It's never going to happen. It just, until changes are made, it'll never happen. And I think we come back to the grand old story with Mr. Wenger. I know how disappointed you guys were that he kept his job and they didn't replace him. But realistically, if you look back at it and you look back at what happened and you take the passion out of it and, you've had 6 months into them, who was available to really replace him that was on the market? I mean, hindsight says now that at the time you probably wanted the Italian manager, didn't you? Allegri? And now you could get him. You could get Allegri right now. You could go in and say, right, we're changing everything. New year, new start. You could do that right now. As we all know, this is comes no surprise to anybody. There are people at the club that don't want that to happen. All right?
Okay.
Right or wrong, there are people at the club that just simply do not want that to happen. I still think that Wenger is incredibly well, insulated. He's still got so much credit in the bank with the board.
Sure you're not Arsenal fan, Robby?
No,
You did too much about what's going on out there.
Well, this is the thing. As I said, honestly, I'm with you. Listen,
I'm
a football fan. You know what I mean? I'm a football fan. I do, because we've seen that, the things that you guys are going through, we went through 2009, 2010, 2011, 2013. We know what it's all about. We have been there with a couple of American cowboys. We have been there. I've spoken to the boys before on here, Ola. Arsenal supporter group needs, in my opinion, would be better served complaining directly to the board rather than about Wenger. I think that if senior big bods like Robby that runs Arsenal TV and people from the supporters group were able to sit down tomorrow afternoon and have a couple of pints with the lads from a supporters group, a Liverpool supporters group called the Spirit of Shankly, I feel that the Arsenal supporters group, the argument that they're making, which I fully agree with, would probably be better organised and allowed a voice if they were able to get a little bit of help and some support from that Liverpool supporters group, because they've changed things. Spirit of Shankly at Liverpool have changed things. They organised that walkout against Sunderland that cost us points, as we all know. They've done stuff that has, tangible things that you can see where things at Liverpool changed because the Liverpool supporters group stood up as one and said, fuck you. And I think sometimes that's probably where, again, from an outsider looking in, they could do more. It's about getting a bit more organised as a group,
Let me bring Lee back in, right? So Lee, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain came up this week. Been massive of the player, even when people were taking the piss out of him and saying, "Oh, what a waste of money," that type of thing. And I when he was even being linked with Liverpool, I beat Robby and saying, "Trust me, you're going to get a hell of a player."
Absolutely.
And settles in, you're going to get a hell of a player. And Klopp came out with some interesting comments as recently as today, where he just flat out said that he feels as though Arsenal have not utilised, and it's taken a lot to a level where he can now perform as a Liverpool player, which I've always thought was the case, and I know you've always thought was the case. Comments today.
First thing I'll say, right, is I've seen hundreds, and I mean hundreds, of Arsenal fans saying that he's going to get booed and they're going to boo him. Listen, Oxlade-Chamberlain's Wenger out, okay? Why would you boo the guy? He was Wenger out, yeah? He even liked an Arsenal Fan TV video that was titled Wenger out. Yeah? Why would you hate Oxlade-Chamberlain? Yeah? Come on, man. Listen, he shouldn't have been on the pitch at Anfield this season. He shouldn't have been, yeah? But you can't blame him. You blame the manager for putting him on the pitch.
True.
Yeah?
True.
Because the manager obviously knew he was going. So why would he put him out there? Since he's been at Liverpool, he's not really ripped up any trees. Although I did watch him against Bournemouth the other day, and I thought he was brilliant. Should have scored. He hit the post. He should have scored that. But he's a good player, man. He's got the physique. He's got the speed. He's not, in my opinion, right? I look at Oxlade-Chamberlain and he wants to play central midfield, right? Which is why he left. Yeah, because we're never going to play him there. For me, he hasn't got the passing ability to play central midfield. Yeah, I just don't think he has. But he could do a job there against lesser teams. Against the bigger teams, I'll play him on the wing. Yeah, and I think he'd be unreal on the wing, especially if Liverpool are winning a game against the United and Arsenal, whatever, at Chelsea, and that team are pushing forward, get the ball out to him, he'll roast the right back or the left back.
Yeah, to a degree, I agree with you. I don't think his short passing game is very good.
Yeah, his long passing's decent, but his short passing is tippy-tappy. Nah, it's not the elite level to play in that position. But I think, listen, Jurgen Klopp's not stupid. He spent 40 million quid on him, and Arsenal fans ripped the shit out of that transfer fee. Yeah, saying, "Oh, we got a bargain." Yeah, we may have got a good deal out of that, but so have Liverpool. Yeah. Like, this kid's still young. He's been piss poorly managed by us. The one thing I'll say, right, is when I look at Oxlade-Chamberlain, I go back to when we played Bayern Munich and he whizzed round everybody. Yeah, and he's scooting out. Yeah, and that's Bayern Munich. And he did that in that game. Yes, I know I think we went on to lose that game 5-1. I might be wrong.
We lost quite a few 5-1s.
It might not have been. I don't know. Yeah. But no, he's a good player, man. A really good player. And I've seen a couple of clips today where he's visited kids at school and they've just mugged him right off. Yeah, and like, I feel quite sorry for him. Do you know that? Because he has wasted a lot of years at Arsenal not getting in a team. Yeah. And I know he's had a few injuries.
He should have left 2 years sooner.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago. But he's been played left, right, centre, right back, left back, attacking midfielder, number 9. He's been everywhere apart from goal. Yeah, and that must dent your confidence as a footballer. Right? And,
of course. And you're not really developing.
Exactly.
You're jack of all trades instead of the master of one.
And I'm looking at that, right? And I know we're completely going off topic with this, right? But Maitland-Niles could be that next guy, right? Because Wenger's playing a central midfielder, at left back or left wing back, right? That kid is quality. That could be another one that goes on to be another Oxlade-Chamberlain. Utility player, never holds down a position and ends up getting sold for decent money. When really, if you play the kid in his right position and give him a sustained 20, 30 games, no matter how bad he's playing, just give him a run. Yeah, let him get through that bad run if he's having a bad time. Yeah? But no, Wenger didn't do that. He just took the piss out of him and he was piss poorly managed. And I really hope he does well at Liverpool. I really do. Yeah, because like I said at the beginning, he's Wenger out. And if he's Wenger out, he gets my vote all day long.
and I tell you what, I know we'll come on to that, but that's why for me, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, that is, he gets nowhere near the starting lineup because I think that is exactly the type of game that can hurt his confidence for the rest of his life.
Exactly, mate. And listen, if he goes up against Mane or Salah, as good as the kid is, right, it's not him I'm worried about. It's the rest of the players around him, that I'm worried about. And they will leave him so isolated that he will look so bang average that will ruin him for the next 10 games.
Oh, gosh. Anyway, Ola, what is your opinion on Ox? You know, I've never really known.
Right.
Like, were you happy with the fact that we sold him? Did you ever really rate him?
Well, this is the thing that I have with Ox. I honestly, truly believed if Wenger hadn't signed that 2-year contract, Oxlade would still be at Arsenal.
I
it was
100% agree.
He'll still be an Arsenal player. And the other two key players
100%.
that we're trying to get their signatures right now would have signed a new fucking contract. 100%. I'm certain of it, because the thing is, we look, as much as we praise Arsene Wenger for bringing young players through, or buying young players and you know, blooding them into the team. It's one of those where you almost build a sandcastle and then you fuck it up yourself. So Wenger brings up these nice young kids, brings them through, and then fucks their career up by, you know what I mean, putting them in different positions, playing them out of is a fine example of that. You know, Coquelin, Jack, look at all these young players that supposed to have come through from our academy. What have they really gone on to do? What have they really gone on to win? And Ox...
FA Cups, isn't it?
I will say this, right? Henry, about 6 months ago, was on my channel, right? And he said something really outlandish, and I think it shocked a lot of people. And I didn't realize until, as you were speaking, how right he was. And he declared is a player destroyer.
It's a career killer.
Really? I was just kind of harsh.
Well, at least
but
in his
as
own
you list those names, and I think to myself, fuck, he actually is a player destroyer. Like Henry was seeing some shit that I wasn't even seeing. And you could see it.
That's going to the point that, you know, that I'm trying to make about Ox, because even look at Walcott. Ox was on that trajectory to be like Walcott under Wenger. And Ox is a player that I rate a lot. He's a powerful player. You know, very, very technical player, can dribble, feet past players, got power. I remember when he first came, he used to lick some shots outside the box. We soon took that out of him. The only problem that I really had with Ox is whenever he played in his middle of the park, is a head down sort of player. He never looks up. His head is always down. I'm not sure whether he still does that at Liverpool, but you know,
no, he doesn't.
When he's playing, watch him closely. He rarely looks up. His head down
and drive
pass and drives. Then and that's why his delivery or his final balls when he played for us, a lot of our fan bases always had that kind of problem with it. It wasn't up until maybe towards the end of last season and a little bit maybe in pre-season that, you know, we started seeing the end product of Oxlade. He started picking up crosses, playing on the right wing back, and, you know, he was picking up people. I remember that special one that I delivered to Monreal's left foot. And Monreal...
To be fair...
The one for Giroud as well.
The one for Giroud as well. You know, his delivery started coming through, and he improved that side of his game. You know, but before that, he was a head down player.
His directness is exactly the reason why I always rated him.
Yeah,
exactly.
Aaron Ramsey, sideways, back. What the fuck are you doing? It's the 90th minute. Go and get a goal.
What he has, Chris, right? He has the ability to just blitz 3 or 4 players out of the game in 5 yards. Yeah. Just to absolutely take 3 or 4 players. He can take a whole midfield out in 5 yards. Yeah, because he'll just spin, twist, and he's gone. Yeah, whereas like you just said,
that end product.
That's the problem. The final ball was sometimes lacking. But listen, that's piss poor coaching. Yeah, that's piss poor managing. Yeah, and that's not having. I mean, look at Raheem Sterling. Right, in my opinion, Raheem Sterling's a good footballer. Yeah, right. He's not a fantastic footballer, but look at what the coach is getting out of him this season, because he's had him for a year and he's got all the shit out of him, all the bad traits. He's got all the bad traits out of him, and he is now making that kid world class. I'm not saying he is right now, but if he continues doing what
the
he
trajectory
is doing,
is definitely on the way up.
Yeah. And within the space of, 18 months, Pep Guardiola has made a half-decent footballer Premier League fucking champion, because that's pretty much what he's going to be. Yeah, and he has made him, in my opinion, De Bruyne's going to get all the plaudits this season. Yeah, but Sterling's right on his tail for player of the season.
And
Both
Silva.
of them have been fantastic.
And
Silva as well. Well, you could name the whole squad. Yeah, but for me, De Bruyne is only just ahead of Raheem Sterling. And when you go back 3 or 4 years, yeah, I know he had that good season at Liverpool, Sterling, but Suarez made him look shit hot that season. He made the whole fucking front line look shit hot. Right? Suarez could make me look good. Right? But at that point, I wouldn't have said he was any better than Oxlade-Chamberlain. Now I'm looking at it going, wow, fucking hell, a proper manager who will put his arm around him and get all that bad shit out of him. Yeah.
That juju out. Yeah.
Yeah, has now turned him into a top draw footballer. And he is.
I'll go back, Lee. I'll go back to the start of the season. And I remember this like daylight. A lot of our fans were turning their nose down at Sterling when there was a little talk of...
I must admit, I was one of them.
Yeah. When there was Sanchez going that way and Sterling coming down to us.
Although I do remember a tweet on it, right? I do remember a tweet, lads, yeah. When Pep Guardiola took over at Man City, yeah, I put a tweet out saying, watch him make Raheem Sterling class. Or watch him make, it was something along the lines of that, or watch Raheem Sterling turn into a top draw footballer. It didn't happen last season. He only scored 6 goals, yeah? This season, like I said, he is arguably their best player this season.
Yeah, he's up there with Mo Salah. He really is. And like I was saying, you know, under Wenger, Oxlade was going towards the trajectory of where Walcott is right now. And obviously he went happy with his career. And where Oxlade really won my respect was when he turned down a higher wage to save his own career.
Yeah.
And for me, he absolutely won my respect with that because, you know, he shows that he went all about this money-grabbing business that's why I don't understand, you know, the criticisms and the boos and the people that are going to brand him a snake. And, you know, this guy wants to save his career because he's seen everybody else. He's going down the toilet.
Let's see if they all brand Mesut Ozil a snake if he joins Man United, yeah? Because, do you know what I mean? Or Alexis Sanchez.
And they'll be going for money because they're going on a free and pocketing a bag full of cash, you know. But Oxlade turned down big money to go to Liverpool to save his career, and you know, fair play to him. And obviously, he's gone to a manager that's promised him, you know, to develop his career in the right way and the right manner, and clearly he's happy with what he's doing there. When he first got over there, you know, he went starting a lot of games. A lot of us were, you know, people were giving him shit, but you know, he looks like he's understanding the team and he's looking quite good for him right now.
I think what it is, Ola, right? Obviously, he knows Liverpool's a big club. I don't think he realised how big a club it was when he joined. Yeah, and it was just like the whole city. Yeah, it's just Liverpool. I know Everton are there as well, but if you're Liverpool and you live in Liverpool, all you talk about is Liverpool.
It's Liverpool.
Yeah. Whereas if you're Arsenal and you live in London, you might be Chelsea, you might be Tottenham, you might be West Ham, Leyton Orient, Charlton, Fulham. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I don't think he realised how big a bigger club it was when he got there, and I think that took him back a little bit. Yeah, but now, mate, he's a quality player, man. And I'll be worried if he plays tomorrow because I know how we can, like, when we got players running at us, man, we start lunging in.
Fly past Shaka, man.
Mate, I've seen Milk turn quicker than him, mate.
Oh yes, that was started. Robby, let me bring you in because to our frustrations with Ox and just not with Ox himself, but with the situation. It'd be really interesting to get your take on how you feel he's developed. Do you rate him as a player? Do you agree with what Lee said? Because I thought that was an excellent point about the fact that he didn't realise how quite big of a club Liverpool are. I mean, let's face it, as much as it pains me to admit it, historically, they are a humongous fucking club when you compare it to Arsenal. So
yeah, I remember talking to you at the time, Chiggers, and I was absolutely over the moon that we'd signed him. And
you were.
Honestly, I would have paid an extra 10 million for him because this is going to seem like a bit of a broader point, but if you recall, this time last season, Liverpool were flying, but they were playing the same 11 lads into the ground. Post-Christmas, it all goes pear-shaped, and you found ourselves in a situation where the commentators in the press and the media going, "Oh well, he should have rotated the team more. He should have rotated the team more." Yes, absolutely right. He should have, and he learned that lesson the hard way. And I think that's the thing about great coaches tend to learn things the hard way. We've been without Adam Lallana up until last week, and Adam Lallana is a huge player for Liverpool. He's very important in arranging and organising the gegenpressing. He doesn't just do Cruyff turns all of the time. He can play a bit. He's a good player. And we haven't missed him because we've had Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, because we've also had a situation whereby we've rotated more. Now, Oxlade-Chamberlain played something like 130 games for Arsenal over the course of 7 seasons. That doesn't seem like a lot, does it? Because it's not over 7 seasons. And a lot of those games were substitute appearances. 20 minutes here, half an hour there. And, you know, Lee said about his short game is not great. I would agree. Of all of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's many attributes, what he has that makes him stand out from an awful lot of players is an amazing attitude. He is much like somebody like Milner at Liverpool. His attitude and his professionalism is absolutely first class. He's one of those guys that comes onto the training pitch and he keeps standards high. You know, he keeps pressing people and working and challenging others to improve. And he's doing that himself. Now, the point that Lee made about Sterling is also 110% correct, and I fully agree with it. The thing is that when you're a player who's 21, 22, 23, and in Oxlade-Chamberlain's case 24, you're still very much in a development. Ryan Giggs at 17 and Ryan Giggs at 27 are 2 completely different players, but both of them are fucking awesome, right? But they're different players. That's the development. The other thing that Oxlade-Chamberlain's got is a dad that played the game at the highest level, right? He gets a lot of good support from his dad, right? I agree with you that in terms of Oxlade-Chamberlain, probably for himself should have moved 2 years ago, and he probably regrets that. Yeah. I agree with you all when you say about again, this is an inherent problem at Arsenal that they are not upscaling the players. There doesn't seem to be tangible proof of improvement for many players, be that Jack Wilshere, Alex Iwobi. Again, Alex Iwobi is still a very young lad, right? The player that he is now and the player that he should be in 5 years' time are chalk and cheese. The player that lad should become should be absolutely first class footballer. I really like him. If you said to me, Robby, Liverpool are linked with Alex Iwobi, I'd be made up, absolutely made up. And he might just be a squad player for us to begin with. Mm-hmm. Sterling, when he went to City to begin with, was a squad player. Stones has improved at City, and that's the upscale. Those are the work-ons that good coaches are able to employ. The big issue, it's difficult, guys, because it doesn't matter how much money you've got, whether you're City, United, Spurs, Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Arsenal, Liverpool, Real Madrid. It doesn't matter how much money you've got. The one thing that they cannot buy is time. And where Liverpool have done very well over the course of this season thus far is that they have had the opportunity to work with the players on the training pitch more and more and more. All right? Last year, when we had a full week, No excuses. But if you want players to improve, you have to do that on the training pitch just as much as in games. You know, as I said at the start of this with Klopp, it's the same with players. Players learn the hard way. They learn by getting things wrong. You know, okay, that's not the same for everybody, but again, you can't quantify it. Oxlade-Chamberlain massively fits into the way that Liverpool want to play. Lee talked about the way that he moves, he facilitates, he works hard off the ball. He'll be great. He will be great in a European Cup quarter-final away from home against whoever. Because in terms of gegenpressing, him and Lallana will complement each other massively. That will take time. They need to play together more. And obviously, with Lallana being injured, he's not been able to do that. Okay, so I'm over the moon. Honestly, legitimately, I'm over the moon.
Did you like the classy gesture?
Absolutely, yeah. Because look, you know, listen.
That was classy. I think.
You know, listen. Whether you rate Coutinho or not, I still think that if he has a very good World Cup, Liverpool could get a lot of money for him. We know he's going, but again, this is to do with like the dynamics inside of a squad. Is that if we'd sold him, Klopp would probably have resigned because he's very much a man of his word. So I'm reading a book at the moment from Raphael Honigstein, who's a German sports journalist. And what's come across in the first 2 chapters that I've read is the way that the Germans and the French with Wenger, when Wenger came in, we all know Wenger was disgusted at the way that the players ate. And he changed things like that. And he was disgusted at the way that the players trained. Klopp looks at things from a much more philosophical point of view. So there's a thing in there where he says he cannot believe how, like, in the UK generally, we're seeing it with Joe Hart now, right? Everyone's going, Joe Hart is a bag of shit. He's an absolute bag of shit. He's shit, right? He's having a bad time of it. He is. The Germans will go, give him time, be patient, he'll come back. He may well come back. Joe Hart may well come back. But as soon as he makes another mistake after, let's say, 18 months of solid football, quality football, performance-wise, every single person will go up on Twitter and go, see, I told you Joe Hart was shit, didn't I? We are not prepared. I think this is a cultural thing. We are not prepared to give people, footballers, cricketers, rugby players, golfers, doesn't really matter what, we're not really prepared to give people the oxygen of time to improve. And if they don't, we're very, very quick to go, yeah, he's a cunt. We are. And I understand why we do it, and I think it's something that we've all sort of inherited over the course of the last 25 years. A lot of it, in my opinion, comes from Sky. Sky like to do a lot of phrases like world-class player. What constitutes a world-class player? Because it's very, very hard to sit down. But if you said to me, Paul Scholes is a world-class player, I would say to you, yeah, he's a very, very good footballer. But did he ever make mistakes? Yes, he did. He's not perfect. He was not a perfect footballer. Those of us have watched England very carefully and watched Scholes a lot. We should absolutely cringe when he went in to make a tackle. He was the king of giving away silly free kicks that cost England games. But if you ask a Manchester United supporter, they'll go, no, he's a world-class player. And they won't have an argument about it. They won't. I don't think Oxlade-Chamberlain has even touched the surface of the player that he could become at Liverpool. We will probably see that once Klopp has had a full pre-season with him. So, but yes, you know what I mean? So, yes, but I agree with you. I'm very worried. Again, it's a broader point.
Yeah, Robby, I think Klopp had his pre-season with him when we played in that 4-0 because we were playing with 10 players, mate.
Yeah.
Ox was playing for you, lot.
You know,
just wearing the Arsenal shirt.
You know, listen, he had Mo Salah all summer and he scored 20 goals before Christmas. That's signing of the season, that. To coach players. You know what I mean? That opportunity to to talk to them, to understand with them. There was a thing this week where Pep, we all like and respect Pep by and large, I think, but even he was talking about sometimes he has to explain to his lads 4 or 5 times what he wants them to do before they get their head round it. It's not something where you can just click your fingers and they will just improve dramatically overnight. There's a Matthew Syed book that I've been reading as well about marginal gains, and that's very much to do with like this, the cycling in the Olympics and that, where we went from being pretty good, not bad, win a few medals, to we're winning everything. But in the middle there, the 6 years where they slowly but surely got better and better and better and better and better. And I think what we do have as well as football fans collectively, we have no patience. We have none. We want everything yesterday. And I understand that. I totally understand that. But if you're able to see the reasoning behind it, if you're willing to be a little bit more patient and see like Liverpool, Klopp are building a culture. It's slowly happening. It will take another 18 months before we're there and we're a quality side, an absolute top quality side.
Let me think more towards the game now. I'm thinking about key threats for both sides. Mo Salah, Ola, you touched on it.
Yeah.
He has to be the signing of the season. It occurred to me, I was thinking back the other day, and I know people are taking the piss out of Lukaku at the moment, but you sit back and you think, so hold on, Jose at one point had Lukaku, Salah, and they had De Bruyne. At one point or another, they had all 3 of these guys.
Yeah.
What the hell happened?
It's crazy how a couple seasons can change things around you, isn't it?
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, what do you think about what do you see are Liverpool's greatest threats in terms of what they could pose to us on tomorrow?
I mean, for me, it's more the way they're gonna identify our weak players and press and cut off their supplies, their supply of passing. They put us under pressure on our exit. Players that we try to use to exit, playing out of the back, because that's the style that we employ. We try to play out of the back, and a lot of our ball carriers now are now our centre backs. Koscielny is doing it a lot. If you look at Mustafi, some of the times that he's played a lot, he's brought the ball towards the centre circle. So these are our ball carriers that brings the player out of the back. And a lot of the times, I'm not sure if they trust in Xhaka anymore because of the times that he's made a square pass or tried to give him back the ball, and they've pressed the defenders, and basically we don't want to play that long ball out. The only one of our defenders that actually played that long ball out is Monreal, because if he sees trouble, he's getting the ball out of there. But, they identify our weak players, like I said, and Liverpool pressing gangs. They come like neighborhood gangs into your half, pin down wherever it's not, looking to, show that they can stand up with them and be counter. Look, for me, tomorrow we have to earn the right to play tomorrow, because if we don't, Liverpool will end up looking like the home side, and we could end up looking like one of them bottom teams tomorrow if we're not careful. We have to impose ourselves on the game. They got a lot of threats coming into this game. Like I said, they've been talking about it all day on Sky. Fab Four. I ain't seen them really say anything about our team. It kind of reminds me about that Spurs game we had the other week. All they spoke about was Tottenham. They didn't give us no chance at all. And I'm quietly liking that.
Yeah.
Quietly liking that. In that, exactly. When the focus isn't on us, and all they're talking about is to deliver, because that way, we're not the favorite. Nobody's talking about us. Actually, everybody's thinking Liverpool's going to wipe the floor with us with this Fab Four, and yes, they can if we allow them to do it. But like I said, we need to stand up and be counted. We need to earn the right to play. We need to do the basics right. And if we do all of those, I remember 3 seasons ago when we signed Sanchez. Liverpool didn't want to play us. They were breaking it every time. Italy. They were breaking it. They didn't want to play us. I remember when Ozil scored that free kick against Liverpool. They didn't want none of us. And now look, what a couple seasons done. They're talking about 4-0 and 5-0 and all them type of things there. So I think it's about time that we need to look at ourselves. We need to dust ourselves down and back the team. Yeah, all right, Ox is coming back. He might have a few pointers for the Liverpool squad, but I don't think there's anything that Ox is going to tell him that they don't already know. Yeah. They've already took 9 points out of us in the last 3 games. So I think it's more on us to go and change it and show that we're not going to succumb to them at our ground. And it's about time, especially the time of the year that we're in, to give our fans something to shout about, because we ain't had a lot of it over the last few seasons. I'll go back to Southampton, 4-0 dropping over there. There's a few games that's come at the end of the, towards the end of the year like this, and we always fuck up. But we desperate. We don't just need this 3 points for the festive period, but we need it to give us momentum going into that game on the 3rd of January. We've got another one against Chelsea coming up 3rd of January. That's the week after that. So we need it as a momentum, because if we go around losing 6 points in them 2 games, basically the season is over as far as the league or getting back into the Champions League campaign is concerned. The league, that side of things is done. Then that would then decide whether we put all our eggs into the Europa League basket, like United did last season. But at this moment in time, we still got the option, because we're not far from 3rd place, 4th place in terms of points. Couple games can change everything. It's been changing week to week as far as the table's looking when it comes to them 3rd, 4th, and 5th places there. So, it's really, really vital and important that we impose ourselves on the game, and don't worry about what Liverpool's going to be bringing. Of course, we have to be prepared for them. Of course, we know they've got quality. But while we've been waxing lyrical about Liverpool's front 4 and maybe a little bit in their midfield, their defense is dog shit. Just as bad as our defense. And we got players that can hurt their defense as well. We got players that can get at their defense. That what's his name? Clavan, and that what's the name of that one they got from Southampton? They got loads of players from Southampton, by the way.
Dejan Lovren.
That's the one.
He's posing as a Premier League footballer, mate. He's nicking a living, that geezer.
He's one of those that you say is really nicking a living. And, if we came correct, and the goalkeeper ain't great, I remember sending you...
He's pony, man. He is pony.
I remember sending you one of the memes there where you throw a frisbee to this dog and this dog misses it. I say, yeah, take that dog to Battersea Dogs Home. Mignolet is like that.
Let's not get into you and dogs, Ola. You know what they're like.
Now, I'm coming for the dogs later on, Brendan. Trust me. But the thing is this: they got a really bad defense, and I think we can get at the defense as well. But if we play in the right areas of the pitch, do all the right things, and impose us, I think we can absolutely, get at them. And yeah, it should be an entertaining game. Yeah, they got threat, but we got a couple as well. Supposing Sanchez decides to show up.
It's a good segue into what I was going to ask Lee. So, Lee, I watched your preview, but let's have an actual conversation about it. Alexis Sanchez. Now, I see Alexis Sanchez as a hot topic among Arsenal fans at the moment. You know, you still got people who are absolute diehards. No, this is a big game. He will perform, even though he hasn't been performing since the start of the season. But all right, he'll do that. Right? Now, I know I watched your preview, which obviously anyone who's watching this now, go subscribe to Gunnerbang and go watch the preview if you've not already seen it. It's an interesting one. He's got an interesting 11, which I'm not sure I completely agree with, but it's interesting. What is your opinion on if Alexis should start this game? Because if you ask Liverpool fans, even today, and I'm going to confirm this with Robby in a second, even today, if they had to point at threats of Arsenal, they'll still pick Alexis as one of them. Would you start Alexis in this game?
No. And as you well know, I love that geezer, man. I properly love Alexis Sanchez.
You really do.
But he can't start, man. The last game he actually performed was Cologne when he scored that screamer. Yeah, and even then, it was only the second half he performed. You know, when I may be wrong, I'm sure somebody will point it out, but I'm sure that is the last time he actually. I left the game thinking he actually played all right today.
I took a lot of stick at the start of the season when I put that fucker in the blood clot stadium there. Now look, everybody see what's happening now.
Listen, right?
People's been losing their fucking mind.
Listen, when Alexis Sanchez leaves this football club, and it'll be his last game will be Huddersfield away, right? He will get a standing round of applause from me, a standing ovation from me, because that guy has been an absolute fucking joy to watch, right? He should have been sold in the summer. A bid come in for 60 mil from Man City. Arsene Wenger said no. The club said no. So he didn't go. Yeah? He didn't go. We didn't get replacements. We weren't going. We now look like fucking idiots because we have kept this guy. We do. We look like dickheads, right? We have kept this guy, right? And people are going, oh, well, he signed a contract. He should honour it. Well, regardless. Yeah, these are the same people that go, no one's available because they're under fucking contract. Yeah, come on, get rid of the game. Yeah, everyone has a price. It's ridiculous, mate. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, Dennis Bergkamp's fucking available because he got sacked today. Yeah, so...
Has he been sacked? I knew it was suspended.
He got sacked. So, with Alexis Sanchez, I will give him a standing ovation. I will clap him out the club, right? In my opinion, he should have got sold in the summer. He didn't. I think Ozil should have gone in the summer as well. If you've got, maybe even Jack Wilshere. If you don't want to sign a contract and you've got 1 year left, laters, we are cashing in. Yeah? Because this club that we all support is apparently a very well-run club. They're letting a £100 million walk out for fuck all.
Yeah. Right? And not only that, this is what I was going to bring up with you guys last week. Fucking Welbeck and Ramsey have now said, whoa. Listen, how the fuck is this happening at our club?
Listen, Welbeck needs to fucking reevaluate himself, yeah? That guy has been fucking living the dream for a decade, right? The guy ain't even good enough for fucking Sunderland, right? Let alone Arsenal Football Club. Yeah, how the fuck?
Hate Welbeck.
But I will actually pick Welbeck over Sanchez tomorrow. I would.
Yeah, I know.
Right? I would, right? But at the same time, this well-run, oiled machine that churns out money left, right, and centre is allowing over 100 million quid's worth of talent to go down to the final couple of months. Yeah. So let's say that all walks out for nothing. That's 100. Let's say we could have got 40 for Ozil and got our money back. Yeah. Let's say we get 60 for Sanchez. There's 100 mil. Let's say 15 for Jack. Yeah. There's 115. Now we've got to go and replace that. So we've lost 115, and now we've got to add to that. It's going to be a £200 million hit. Yeah. And this club's apparently mate, trust me, that is going to knock us for the next 5 years. Yeah. that will knock us for the next 5 years. That decision not to take the money for Alexis Sanchez in the summer will fuck this club for the next 5 years.
And on top of that, not even getting the Champions League money as well.
Exactly. And again, we ain't going to get it this season. We will not qualify this season, which is another, 40, 50 million quid lost. Yeah. Plus the ticket prices, maybe even more, because they dropped the season tickets this season. Yeah, they dropped 200 quid off the price this season because we're in Europa League. But look at the attendances at the games. They're dead. Champions League games, they were rammed. Yeah, so, it's a massive mistake to have not sold Alexis Sanchez, whether it was Man City or not. If a £60 million bid comes in for a player in the final year, you rip their arms off for that and say, we'll drive him to you now. Yeah, we'll come and get the money now. Yeah, and you drive him up there, whether that's Man City or not. At the end of the day, there's only one man who is to blame for putting us in that position that he's in the last year of his contract, and that buck lies with the manager. Yeah? If the manager had done what was required a year earlier, yeah, in terms of getting players put around him and Ozil, yeah, and maybe offering bigger money in terms of a new wage deal, a new pay deal, yeah, then maybe they both would have signed. Instead, we're now in a situation where we are actually fucked because they are both going to go for nothing. I don't care whether Ozil's dressing it up that he's going to sign, and Arsenal Twitter, whoever runs that Twitter account needs to fuck off as well, right? He does. The geezer or the bird, whoever the fuck it is that runs that, is an absolute fucking wrong'un, mate. Yeah? Tweeting out a thread of Mesut Ozil's best goal. Fucking do me a favour. Like he's sitting at home knocking one out going, yeah, fuck it, I'll sign then. Yeah? He ain't staying. And if he does, I'll eat my words, right? That guy is playing everybody. He is so on point with his fucking PR, it is unreal. And when he walks away, sorry, Chris, let me finish, right? When he walks away, we were talking about he's a snake, he's this earlier about other players. He will walk out of this fucking football club an absolute hero. Yeah? Whereas Alexis Sanchez will walk out for nothing as well. An absolute snake. Work that one out.
I look forward to you taking a picture of Ozil's statue at the Emirates, mate.
Listen, I've got a fucking bet. I've got a bet with one of my mates. 50 quid he goes. Yeah, Ozil goes by the summer. Right? And
that's the easiest money you'll ever make.
Well, that's what I'm saying, isn't it? I'm going to enjoy taking his money. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
you know what I love?
Alexis, just come in. Go on.
This motherfucker has just been ranting and raving about the person that runs Arsenal Twitter, but made sure he gender appropriated, and said geezer or bird who runs Arsenal.
Well, we don't want the Yeah, we don't want the girls getting upset saying, look, it's not just a blokes game and all that. Do you know what I mean? Right? But the way I see it, just finishing off on the Sanchez thing, right? I wouldn't start him in this game. Right? Because as much as Liverpool go, oh yeah, he's a threat. Listen, he ain't a threat. Right? His performances all season have been garbage. Right? I would rather have Danny Welbeck, who is absolute dog shit, yeah? Couldn't score in a brothel, right? I would rather have him running at fucking Dejan Lovren and squaring it to Lacazette than Alexis Sanchez, who's just going to plod around and throw his arms up in the air and get the ump, yeah? And just very quickly, coming on to what Ola said about how the game's going to go, I think it's going to go the complete opposite. I think Liverpool ain't going to press us. They're just going to sit off the ball. I think they're going to sit deep. And they're just going to soak up all the pressure, and they're going to leave their front three so far forward. And as we know, our centre-backs love to get into the halfway line, yeah? And as soon as they nick the ball, bang, they're gone, yeah? And they're going to have acres of space to run into, and that is how they will score their goals, yeah? If we do manage to get a goal before them, yeah, then they're fucked. Yeah, if they play that way. If they sit deep and play that way, yeah, they're fucked. Because we get 1-0 up, we can retreat.
The reason why I said if we impose ourselves on them, look at the way. All right, yeah, you touched on the United game earlier on, and we played some mad football after we conceded 2 goals in 10 minutes. Yeah, but we played. You mean to tell me if we played with the same intensity against Liverpool, even though they were 2-0 up, with Mignolet in goal, we wouldn't get back into that game?
I'm not so sure. This is Arsenal, man.
I think
Listen,
their
like,
defense,
we're the only club, right?
well, that shoots right at the keeper.
No, we're the only club, right, that can fucking lose to Sheffield Wednesday after fucking, was it Bayern we beat in the Champions League?
We tried so hard to lose.
Yeah, we
that
beat
game
Bayern
to
in the
Newcastle
Champions
other
League
day.
3 days later or a week later, whenever the fuck it was. We're going to lose to Sheffield Wednesday. That is Arsenal Football Club. Yeah. If Liverpool sit deep, they will compact their defence and sit their midfielders deep. Yeah. We will do exactly what we do every fucking week. Sideways, backwards. Bellerin, and I'm now phrasing, I am keeping him as the Spanish Justin Hoyt for the rest of the fucking season. Yeah. That is done, right? But the way I see it is, Bellerin is one of the quickest players in the Premier League. Yeah. All he does, he gets the ball, he runs down the fucking wing. Instead of taking the geezer on, he stops and passes backwards. Why the fuck you just run down the wing then? Yeah? Because all that running you just did has just wasted your energy, bruv. Yeah? When he crosses a ball, yeah, he takes a touch before he crosses. Yeah? So he don't just whip it straight in, which is what you're supposed to do, because then you're fucking getting the centre-backs off guard, yeah, and off balance. He takes a touch, the left back comes out and it deflects out for a corner. Or he goes fucking whacking it into row Z. Right? So that is how I see the game. If they sit deep, we'll be doing exactly the same shit. Bellerin will have a shitter because he'll fucking run down the wing and pass backwards or cross his ball straight out of play. Yeah. Xhaka will just pass it sideways, backwards. Yeah. And Liverpool will then counter us. And where we've pushed so far forward and camped them on the edge of their box, our centre-backs will be on the halfway line, if not in their half. Yeah. And then as soon as they do get a quick turnover, we're fucked. Because then you've got Salah running at you. You've got Firmino running at you. You've got fucking Mane if he plays. Yeah, Coutinho. And they're then running, yeah, maybe Chambers? Koscielny? Yeah?
Remember
it's a red
playing...
card waiting to happen, mate.
As long as Lovren's on the pitch, we got a chance. Don't we, Rob?
Yeah, we do, but fucking come on, man. Like, listen, if they play like that, then yeah, we've got a chance, right? If Liverpool... we haven't got a chance. If Liverpool come at us, I think that's our best chance. But I don't think they will. They'll be happy with a draw.
I tend to agree with what you're saying, Lee. In terms of like, if we got a draw, I think we'd be quite happy. The thing with Liverpool is that like there's a misconception, and again, this is what I was talking about earlier about Sky say things. Like you hear something said on Sky Sports News, and it immediately becomes gospel. Liverpool's defence is massively improved. But there have been 2 occasions this season where we've let in 4 goals against Spurs and 5 goals against City. But other than that, like we've let in 3 goals at Anfield this season. Defensively, you know, again, it's a thing about like learning the hard way. Last week, Sky Sports spent 3 days going on about Liverpool, Bournemouth. It was 4-3 last year. Oh, is it going to happen again? Is it fuckers like? Particularly when you play Defoe on his own up front. All right, a good player, but he's not going to hold the ball up for you, is he? All right, and we won that 4-0. And all right, Defoe had a couple of chances, but we still kept a clean sheet. All right. There's that idea that's put around the press and the media. They go, oh, they're shit in the back. Yes. You know, Lovren has made individual errors. Clavan has made individual errors. But Joe Gomez, who's been playing right back, has been absolutely superb. It's ridiculous. He's injured at the moment, but Alberto Moreno has been superb. What we tend to find is that when Liverpool let in goals, it's not because they have collectively fucked up. Even Mignolet has... All right, Mignolet's Mignolet. Mignolet's Mignolet. Right? This is like... Mignolet is a solid Premiership goalkeeper, but he's not in the same class as...
he's not going to get in another top 5
Liverpool,
or 6 teams,
yeah,
is he?
exactly, yeah. I mean, if I don't even think he'd get a game at Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? So, but But he's improved since we brought Loris Karius in and gave him somebody to challenge him. And that's, like I said, like it's a slow progression thing over the course of time. And again, it varies depending on how patient you are. Lee's right. Be terrified of Liverpool on the counter. Be fucking terrified of them. Be terrified of them like you're waiting for a fucking tax bill to come through the door. You know? They're lightning. Mo Salah is absolute unmitigated lightning. He's in great form. And yet, he's, as you said, like he scored 20 goals this season. And yet, he's also a 1 in 4 in terms of chances. He will convert 1 in every 4, right?
Can I just cut in there and say 20 goals in half a season is more than Eden Hazard's ever scored in a season?
Yeah, that's right. It is.
Yeah. And people bang on about Hazard's world class.
Yeah.
In that case, then, so is Mo Salah. Yeah?
Yeah, again, like, I come back to this idea of, like, what is world class? This, like, for me, I've always gone on a 5-star rating in terms of players. This player is 5 stars.
Yeah,
2 years ago,
there's only I put Messi and Ronaldo in a bracket above world class. Them two are fucking in a different.
Yeah, I think. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? That for me, that is the line. That's where world class lives. That's where world class lives. And loads of players are talked about as being world class, or and they're not. If that's the standard, they're not. They're not.
Exactly.
It's another argument for another day. It's not really something you want to, isn't it? The thing about Alexis Sanchez, yes, you're right. If you asked me at the start of the season, would I be frightened about Alexis Sanchez? Absolutely. Absolutely. Of course I would. Because we know that he is a very, very good footballer. Right? However, Chile are not going to the World Cup. It's pretty much done and dusted that he's going to Manchester City. He has nothing to play for. And much like people like Luis Suarez, Bobby Firmino, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, these are players who will win at all costs. They want to win at all costs. And I would definitely say that of Alexi for the majority of the time that he's been at Arsenal. He's already on holiday. Let's be honest. He's already on holiday. He knows what's going to happen. It's just,
Let me cut in then and ask you the question that I kind of half-asked Lee. What do you see Alexis as a threat? And if whether you do or you don't, who are the threats that Arsenal pose to Liverpool tomorrow?
On paper, I see him as a threat because we know that he has the ability to just produce magic out of nothing. He absolutely does have that. As I said to you at the start of the show, I'm absolutely delighted that Giroud is not playing. He's got an amazing record against Liverpool. He has done very well against Lovren. Lovren has really struggled against him. I would probably say I'm worried about Ozil because, as I said to you before, he's got something to play for.
You hear that, Lee?
I understand where Lee's coming from. But
he's been good this season. I've said that all season.
Exactly. Like, if you look at it in the wider context, that is a guy that's won a World Cup, like should be in his prime as a player, and is nowhere near guaranteed to be in the German squad. The quality available to the Germans is gargantuan. Truly, truly frightening. There will be some big players when they announce their World Cup squad. There will be some big players that are not.
Yeah,
going
but
to the World Cup.
it would be in the World Cup though. It would be in the World Cup. I think they'll take him.
He's certainly playing for it, isn't he? You know, like, and the only people that benefit from that at the moment are you guys, the Arsenal supporters. Arsenal are benefiting from Mesut Ozil being under pressure for his place in the squad, in the German squad.
But I agree with Ola because that Germany boss loves Mesut.
Yeah, of course they do. If he went back to Bayern Munich,
I don't see them leaving him out, man. He just floats like a butterfly when he's around Toni Kroos, and he just does his things. It comes to life.
But you
just
know what,
see
Oliver,
Mesut for what Mesut really is.
Yeah, but you know what?
When he's around those guys.
What makes me laugh, bruv, what makes me laugh, right, is he's done really well this season. He has played. It's probably been his best season so far. Yeah, in my opinion.
I agree with you.
I know he's got 19 assists and all that, but I don't count assists. Yeah, Wayne Rooney got an assist for a missed penalty the other night. Come on, assist,
Yeah,
really?
I heard about that one.
Do you know what I'm saying? Right? He got an assist for passing Sigurdsson a 2-yard pass, which he banged in the top corner. Stick your assist stats up your ass, right? But Ozil has been good this season. Yeah, very good this season. Not fantastically good, but he has been good. Yeah, and he has though. And his goal the other day was fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, it was out of this world.
Yeah,
we were signed behind the goal the other day, weren't we?
Yeah,
and
we see as soon as he hit that, it was just like, what?
Like, why?
Come on, bro.
What the hell is going on?
This is what winds me up. Yeah. Everyone says, "Oh, he needs world-class players." You've started me off. He needs world-class players around him. Yeah, right. He has to have world-class. Sorry, if you're world-class, you're the shining light in the team. You're the best player in the team. Yeah. You show that more often than not, right? Now, let me say something here. Yeah, right. He was absolute dog shit last season. Yeah. So how comes with the same fucking bunch of idiots this season? Yeah, he's played all right.
He's got something to play for, hasn't he?
Have you noticed as well, since they played deep for Germany in that friendly against England, he's been kind of playing deep for Arsenal as well.
And you know what? He's played better. He's played better
there
because he gets to see the whole pattern of play. He can see everything.
The whole picture.
I agree.
But when he plays for Germany, Jurgi Löw bangs him out on the left fucking wing, and that boy is running up and down. Yeah? Why is that? Because he knows he will get fucking dropped. Yeah? For Arsenal, he could put in 2 out of 10s every week, and he's still the first name on the team sheet. And that's for a lot of our players though. That exactly.
Goes right from Bellerin, Koscielny, Cech,
Koscielny, another one,
Sanchez, Ramsey,
and it all comes back a lot of our players to the manager.
And this is where Liverpool is different to us. They are accountable to their manager because Klopp will ask questions.
Spot on.
Could you imagine going back in the dressing room after putting a 2 out of 10 in? You see the faces Klopp was on the sidelines.
Exactly that.
They're scary as they is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And this is where Liverpool is different to us because they will run themselves into the ground, and you know it's crazy how Klopp is molded this team to what they are now.
But all of that goes back to the story that I said, because Klopp was surprised that it doesn't seem like Ox has been playing at 110%, that we haven't extracted everything we can from a player. And how can we really be that surprised? Because we know that the manager doesn't say shit for the first 10 minutes of a damn team call.
Can you imagine, though, being Oxlade-Chamberlain, right? You're going to training every single day in your nice Mercedes or Jag or whatever car you drive here. You're going in every single day. You're putting in everything in training. And no matter what, Theo Walcott's getting in ahead of you. Ramsey's getting in ahead of you. Xhaka's getting in ahead of you. Yeah? You then get a chance in the fucking team. You get man of the match, yeah, against Southampton a few fucking seasons ago in the Cup. Yeah? The next game, you're fucking dropped. Yeah? What must that do? Lucas Perez, Champions League hat-trick. The next game, you're dropped. Yeah. I swear to God, if anyone knows of somebody who scored a Champions League hat-trick and actually been dropped the next game, put it in the comments section. That has got to be a first.
It will be
Mate, I did it to Mane last year. Liverpool did that to Mane last year.
Oh, fucking hell.
Gave him, scored a hat-trick and dropped him. Scored a hat-trick and dropped him.
Wow. Maybe Klopp is turning into Wenger.
Rested. Rested. You know what I mean? Rested him.
I mean, if you look at our ex-players,
he dropped him. You know what I mean?
I mean,
that's mad.
If you look at our ex-players, and a lot of our ex-players, people that have left the club and gone on to punditry or even gone to other clubs, they all say the same thing, and they can't all be lying.
Exactly.
Wenger does not coach any of the players. The players don't get coached. They do drills and all of that. But I mean, Fabregas went down to Barcelona when he left us, and he said he learned more in the first 6 months that he was at Barcelona on what he's supposed to be doing than he learned the entire career at Arsenal.
Remind us who the manager was, mate. Who was the manager?
Uncle Pep.
Exactly. The man who's turned Sterling into the best fucking winger in the league.
The thing, going back to your point, Robbie, about progress and building, that's why Arsenal fans are so annoyed. Like every single... And this is the thing, you can level this accusation about every other football fan being impatient. Arsenal fans ain't impatient.
We've been the most patient motherfuckers on this planet.
Mate, 14 years.
21 years of this shit. At some point, you have to say enough.
Gentlemen, I understand where you're coming from, right? You're right, 14 years. When did Spurs last win something?
Yeah, but fuck Spurs.
Yeah,
fuck
but
them,
see what I mean?
Fuck Spurs. Yeah, listen.
Those are those lads that live across the road from
Mate, we've won as many titles at their ground as they've won in their fucking history. They're irrelevant. They're dot to us, man. Yeah?
No, you can't... You can't even count Spurs in this thing.
Like, listen, when Spurs fans starts giving it the Bertie, right, all you got to say to him is, listen, when you go unbeaten for a season, yeah, when you win all the trophies we've won, yeah, come back to us and you might just be on our fucking level.
Old chestnut, eh?
Yeah, since they last won the fucking FA Cup, we've won 7. Yeah,
exactly.
Right? Since they last won the league, how many fucking... I can't even remember.
With you. Listen, but what I'm saying to you is, like, my point is perspective. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. Like,
no, fuck the Spurs.
Yeah, but boys, honestly, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. If you want to say fuck Spurs, that's fine. I understand.
Fuck Spurs. That's what we call them.
Honestly, I'm talking about. Yeah, no, listen, Spurs. But honestly,
Tony Montana Spurs out here.
I'm talking about you know what I mean? Though? I'm talking about that perspective. Spurs fans have high standards, and they've put up with some absolute dog shit for years. You know, like
but Spurs fans have only got high standards.
Managing them, and like they played the best football in the world for a year.
Spurs fans have only got high standards because they think they're bigger than they are. We've got high standards because we were the best.
We have been there. Yeah, we have been there.
Yeah, Spurs think they're big.
Listen, that's fine. But, I mean, my point is that I'm talking about things as a collective bypass. Is that is just, they are historically a big, big club. Right?
I mean, when
you like them or hate them, Spurs are a big club. They have a rich history. So do Aston Villa. Aston Villa are like the 5th most successful team in English football.
Look, you're right about that, Rob, and I get what you're saying.
Listen, you can't consider Spurs a big club when Huddersfield have won more league titles.
Oh, that's true. But
when Spurs have won the double, we'll have the conversation.
And when the Spurs managers coming out trying to discount whatever trophies that's available,
exactly,
and saying, you know what, I want to win the big things, brethren,
that League Cup
you gotta be able to walk before you can jump. You ain't never won nothing in your career, mate.
Exactly. He was a shit player as well.
Go and win something. Go and get something on the table first.
Yeah.
The big
See, that's what pisses me off with Arsenal fans, right? Because the amount of Arsenal fans that dismissed the League Cup, but now we're in the semi, everyone's knocking one out, going, yeah, it's a fucking big trophy. Fuck off. Where were you when I was sitting there on my videos going, I want to win it? Yeah? As soon as we get to the Europa League semis, everyone will go, oh, it's a European trophy, let's win it. Well, hang on, I've been saying it all season, and everyone's been going, shit cup. I'm sorry, it's a cup.
It's a cup.
When have we been in a position to pick and choose what we fucking win? We ain't winning fuck all, yeah? So let's actually try and win everything.
I mean, if it's good for the likes of Manchester United, Chelsea, all these big fuckers that spend big money, if it's good enough for them, I'm sorry, it's good enough for us.
Exactly.
You know, because
one of the biggest teams in world football and the most successful team in England won both of them.
They win it all the time, and they're happy winning it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Pep, was your man Jose Mourinho? He just sees a trophy. He just sees another trophy.
And when he retires, Robbie, right, he's going to sit down and he's going to look at all the fucking trophies he's won,
Look at his CV, man, and he's
and he's going to sit down with his grandkids and go, do you know what? I was actually the best manager in the world from this point to this point, and look at what I won.
Exactly.
What's Arsene Wenger going to do?
Jose takes the Charity Shield seriously.
Exactly. What's Arsene Wenger?
That's a winning.
Yeah. Arsene Wenger's going to sit there and go, well, I've lost every single fucking final I've ever been in every competition, which is a fucking record. He's lost every single final you can imagine. Yeah.
So
he's
if
the
you're
only manager.
If we're talking about Mourinho taking the Community Shield seriously, and someone like Pochettino then comes out and says, I don't want to be winning them tiny little cups. I don't want to be winning the FA Cups. I'd rather be in the Spurs position than swap the cups that Arsenal's won with their history. I find that ludicrous for a manager that's not won anything.
But
so to talk about them and perspective,
do you know what though, Ola, right?
Their perspective is warped.
Yeah, but do you know what, Ola? I blame this, right? And I blame the generation of fan that has grown up in the Sky Sports era, mate. Because Sky Sports, right, whether you love it or not, Sky Sports have absolutely fucking killed football, right? So is the Champions League, yeah? And now the be-all and end-all is, let's finish fourth. Sorry, to qualify for the European fucking Cup, you had to win the league, yeah? So let's have it right. When everyone knocks one out, Wenger qualified 20 years in a row. Yeah, guess what? Under the old fucking regime, he would have qualified 3 times. Yeah, which is once more than George Graham. So calm down.
That's why it's called Champions League, man.
Exactly. Champions League, but you finish 4th and qualify. What the fuck, mate? They need to scrap the competition and start again.
The good old days. Again, I couldn't agree with you more, Lee. Like, I literally couldn't agree with you more. And there was a horrible thing that happened. Sky did it, and TalkSport did it. Over the course of the last 25 years, the FA Cup in the 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s was bigger than winning the league.
Exactly.
It was bigger than winning the league. It was an enormous, enormous achievement.
Yep.
And whilst the FA have recently sold the rights to the FA Cup around the globe and made themselves a lot of money, you've suddenly seen like the BBC and BT taking the FA Cup a lot more seriously. We also have a culture whereby if you don't win the League Cup or the Carabiner Cup or whatever it's called at the moment, Cup, if you don't win it, nobody takes it seriously. They just dismiss it. And it's people like, what's the ginger bell end on TalkSport? Adrian Durham.
Yeah.
For 15 years has been going, it doesn't matter. Because he tries to troll Arsenal fans because they're great at pulling up and making good radio, and go, it doesn't mean nothing. That cup doesn't mean nothing. And Ola's right. Pochettino says things like that. Pochettino and Adrian Durham and anybody else that says it are doing it for one reason, just for the needle, just to take the piss.
See, the thing is, we're all of an age where the FA Cup started at 8 in the morning on Cup final day, and it was the road to Wembley, and it was just fucking, you follow the team bus. Yeah, and the team have arrived. You see the players walking around on the pitch in their suits. Yeah, you might get an interview with a player, and it was a build-up all day. It was a big family thing. All your family were around, Right? Now, you've got fucking a generation of fans that are fucking in their early 20s, and no disrespect to their early 20s, they're not all like that. Yeah, but it's, well, why would I want to win that? Let's finish 4th and get Champions League and get whacked by Barcelona. Yeah, or Bayern Munich. Yeah, but that is the generation that Sky Sports have created, right? And I solely blame Sky Sports for this because, let's be honest, right? If you had to win the title to qualify for Champions League, trust me now, Arsene Wenger would do whatever it fucking takes to win the title, yeah? Getting 4th is the worst thing that ever happened to football. Finish 4th in your league and you qualify for that and we'll give you a fuckload of money in the process.
Wenger, I agree with you, Lee. Wenger is duplicitous. He's duplicitous in terms
that's too big a word for me, bro.
It means he's in cahoots. He's in cahoots with Sky Sports and he's in cahoots with BBC and the media in large. 4th became a trophy and Wenger made it a trophy.
He even said it in an AGM. Fourth place trophy is above fucking the FA Cup, he said one year in an
because
AGM.
And that's exactly it, Lee, is that you and I are supporters, as you said, of an age. And again, this is no disrespect to the younger generation, but it might come as a shock to some younger supporters of Arsenal and everybody else. Football did not start in 1992.
Exactly.
Right, there was a lot of football before that, right? And
mate, you've only got to look at the Anfield '89 fucking film that was done.
Yeah.
I watched that the other night. Yeah, and I was sat there with fucking goosebumps. All the hairs on me were standing up, and it was just like, do you know what I mean? And like, John Barnes must have fucking kittens over giving the ball away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah? Right,
I watched it, and I watched it, and I was depressed already anyway, and it made me a hell of a lot worse.
I see a goal today, right? Somebody retweeted this onto my timeline, right? And it was Paul Merson scoring at Anfield to make it 1-0. We won 1-0. It was a fucking good goal, yeah? And we won 1-0 at Anfield in 1991, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'll educate everyone here, like, that don't know this already, that's watching this, right? In 1991, we lost one game that season, and that was to Chelsea, yeah? We played Mickey fucking Thomas at centre-back. Yeah, because 3 of the fucking famous back 4 weren't playing that day, right? I think Tony Adams was banged up, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
So if our 3 of the famous back 4 had played that day, we could be sat here now talking about George Graham, the fucking invincible.
Exactly.
Yeah? But, you know, George Graham gets dismissed because he took a backhander. Sorry, Arsene Wenger's been taking backhanders for 20 years.
Yeah.
Kind of that's just a different kind of backhander, which is a legal backhander. Yeah. And the way I look at it just fucking jars me so much, right? That people go, and like you just said, football weren't invented in '92 when Sky Sports fucking kicked off their fucking TV campaign, right? Football's been going for 100 odd fucking years, right? Most people don't even know who fucking started Arsenal. They don't know how it fucking was, and like. They don't know any of the players pre-Arsene Wenger. And if they do, they take the piss out of him, like Tony Adams, and call him an alcoholic. Oh, sorry, that is one of the best players we have ever had at this football club.
Absolutely.
Right? And he gets dismissed because he had a drink problem.
Yeah.
What kind of fucking fans have we got here?
I'm with you. No, listen, like, the great thing about Tony Adams is that he had his problems with alcoholism, right? But it changed the way that he saw the game. It changed his perspective, and as a coach, he's embraced like a philosophical and theological way of looking at football. Unfortunately, I think he'd be a very, very good coach.
He's not a manager.
Let's
have that right.
It's not a manager.
He's not a manager.
You know, obviously,
I think it'd be great with young, like what Gerrard's doing at the moment. I would love Tony Adams to be coaching like 18-year-olds.
If you're a young centre-back like Rob Holding, Callum Chambers, right, and you're coming into training every day, and Tony fucking Adams is taking your training session, you're like, wow, this is Tony Adams.
Correct.
If you've got Thierry Henry as your striker coach or Ian Wright as your striker coach, your fucking ears pricked, watching, listening, taking it all on board. You come into training every day, and the fucking dinosaur we got taking training.
But Lee, we've got the same
geezer he had.
But we've got the same problem, though. We still got the same problem because Steve Bold was one of those fabulous 4 from back then.
And that's what fucks me off as well, Ola, right? That guy sat there on 30 grand a week. He's on 30 grand a week. He was a fucking shit hot centre back. Yeah,
there's no reason why Steve Bold should be in that training session with our defense, and they shouldn't be fucking taking stock.
Yeah, but that tells you all you need to know. He sold out, mate. He sold out for an easy, comfortable 30 grand a week. Yeah, to sit on the bench going, yes, Arsene, no, Arsene. Do you want me to suck you off, Arsene? Yeah.
I don't know if it goes that far, but God damn
it. Let me bring this whole thing to a close. But before I do,
on that fucking bombshell.
On that note, let me bring it to a close. But before I do, let me get all of your 1 to 11s very, very quickly, if possible.
Shit, I got to remember.
Robby, starting with you, just because
Liverpool. I'll give you Liverpool's team because I can't even begin to imagine what Arsenal's is going to look like.
Yeah, Liverpool's team, of course.
Mignolet in goal, Joe Gomez at right back, Andy Robertson at left back, Clavan Ragnar Klavan and...
Is Joe Gomez not injured?
No, he'll be playing at right back, Joe Gomez.
Okay.
Yeah. I would have thought Lovren. And I imagine he'll probably play 4-3-3. So I would have said Henderson, Emre Can, and Coutinho in a 3. And then the front 3 will probably be Mo Salah, Bobby Firmino, and possibly Alexander Oxlade-Chamberlain. Because it just seems to be written in the stars for him to go back
and score the winner.
Yeah, it just seems to be written in the stars.
And reveal a shirt saying Wenger out underneath.
That'd be mad.
Lee, what's your 1 to 11?
Right, well, look, I did a schoolboy error, man. I picked Coquelin in my 1 to 11, then realised after I fucking uploaded the video that he was injured. Yeah, so... Right,
anyway.
Oh, mate, I can't believe I put him in my team. Yeah, he actually played really well against West Ham the other night. So I thought, yeah, I'll put him in the team, and then realised about an hour afterwards when I was checking the comments, oh, fuck, he's actually injured. But I'm going with Petr Cech. Left wing back, I'm going with a 5. Left wing back, I'm going with Kolasinac. Right wing back, the Spanish Justin Hoyt can go and get his fucking Barnet chopped because he's got a weekend off. I am going with Debuchy. Centre backs, I'm going with Chambers, Koscielny, Monreal. The midfield 2, I am going with Jack Wilshere. I did put Coquelin in, but I swapped that to El Neni. I'm then going with Ozil and Welbeck with Lacazette up front.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Just wanted to digest that. Ola?
I'm gonna go with the 4-4-2 formation here. Check and go. Mustafi comes back into the team, so I think Mustafi and Koscielny in the middle. I actually want Monreal to play fullback as a left back because I don't think Kolasinac will play because they played full 90 in the middle of the week. So I don't think he's going to be playing. So I think Monreal plays on the left of the 4, and Bellerin on the right. Xhaka is not going to get dropped, so it's not going to get dropped. It's not going to get dropped. He's playing.
The meltdown's going to be unreal.
Wilshere, and it will be with Ozil at the top of the diamond and Alexis and Lacazette as the 2 up front. So Ozil just behind them. Wilshere will be and Xhaka in the middle and the back 4. Yeah. So that's the team I think I'll go with.
What about you, Chris? What's your 11?
Very similar to you in the sense that I'd go with 3 at the back. I just think
when we get it 3 at the back, guys. Come on. Quick.
I just think we look more sturdy.
We'll kill you.
So I would go with
playing into their hands with at the back. But
in my opinion, I just would go 3 at the back, and I would go with Koscielny, Mustafi, Monreal.
Please do.
I'd go with left back because Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I don't want to expose that kid to.
I agree.
Liverpool. I would go with Bellerin can sit the fuck down. Debuchy gets in my right back slot. Defensively, he'll be more responsible as well. And I think we're going to need that. We're going to need it against Salah. In the middle, Wilshere and El Nene. Your boy Ozil as a number 10. Wells and Lacazette as the 2. And I'd put them 2 up top. So it's like that weird left-hand side that we do. I'd go with 2 up top.
Because I actually think playing 2 up top. It saves fucking Sanchez doing all that fuck around that he does from the left and coming inside because everybody fucking knows what he's gonna do. But if he's playing as a 2, maybe we can get some combinations going between him and Lacazette up there and get some kind of partnership going on there, because Giroud being injured might actually give Lacazette a full 90.
Well, if Welbeck on the bench, he'll sub in for work. Welbeck on.
To be seen.
You watch Chubarak come and get 20 minutes.
It's funny you say that. I put a vote on my Twitter, which is @GlossalChick, for anyone wondering. Basically asked everybody, so with Giroud now out, do you believe Lacazette will get a full 90%? Still said no, because it's fucking Arsene Wenger. 73%. Anyway, thank you guys for listening to us rabbit on for 2 hours long.
Score prediction.
2 hours.
Let's get some quick predictions before I completely close it. So, Robby, prediction.
Liverpool 3-1.
Ooh.
Lee?
Arsenal 3-2.
3-2, okay. And Ola?
4-3 Arsenal.
Fucking hell.
and just because I know my boy will be listening, 4-1 Arsenal. Let's do this. Slap these bitches. Right?
Do you know what the worst of it is, Chris, right? The worst of it is you can't even go into work on Monday and fucking gloat.
No, that
I said I'm going to hunt
game
him
be
down.
full of goals.
Arsenal win. And I mean that. I'm hunting him down. But anyway.
That game's going to be full of goals. It's going to ram out with goals.
Thank you so much for listening to us live. There was 80-odd people that were listening live at one point.
Decent.
We appreciate each and every one of you guys giving up
Thursday
your
night.
Christmas Thursday, I guess, to watch us live rabbit on. Please crush that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Ola, let the people know where they can find you on Twitter.
Yeah, you can find me at Black Scorpion 3 on Twitter. Thanks for inviting me on this platform again. It's been a minute. And yeah, if I don't see y'all before Christmas, Merry Christmas.
And is your YouTube channel still running?
Work is taking over my life, brethren. I remember the last time you invited me on last week when we couldn't come on here. I told you, I was doing 20 miles an hour because I'm not confessing a lie of live on air.
No, don't do that shit. Don't do
that. I was doing 20 miles an hour on the A45.
Yeah, 20 miles an hour like that. You're arrested, FYI.
But yeah, it's work all the time, man.
You sound like Rihanna.
Yeah, I listen to her while I'm at work too. Man.
Lee, let the people know where they can find you, brother.
Lee Gunner82 on Twitter. Lee Gunner82 on Instagram as well. You can follow my journey all season following this shit team I support. I post up pictures at the games from there. And my YouTube is Gunnerbang. So yeah, happy days. Merry Christmas. Let's hope Arsenal don't fuck it up.
Oh boy. And Trouble. Let the people know where they can find you.
Motherfucker. You can find me on the Twitter at Robby Richmond, Robby with an Y, ROBBY. Fair warning, I don't just tweet about football. Fair warning. Politics rugby. Yeah, I'm a big political retweeter. So just fair dues. If you want to follow me and then mute me every once in a while, it's fine. That's fine.
Not all the time, though.
Just mute me for an hour while I go off on one. Like Monday night, I couldn't sleep, and obviously I'm really big into rugby as well. My team sacked their coach. The Northampton Saints sacked their coach last week. And on Monday night, I tweeted from about 12:20 till about 4:45 in the morning.
Oh, fuck off.
Just like the biggest fucking thread about rugby, just basically being a really boring bastard. Not about me.
I would never do that. Not even for Arsenal. Never.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. All right. Hey, listen, thanks for having me on, Chris. And Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Collectively, Happy New Year to people that
Happy
don't
holidays.
Celebrate. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Happy holidays. That's the one, Lee, isn't it?
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Whatever the fuck that means.
Fuck that happy holiday shit. Merry Christmas, motherfuckers. It's Christmas. So Merry Christmas. And have an excellent time with your family. Even if you don't celebrate it, just go and enjoy it with your family. Thank you so much for supporting me all year. I appreciate each and every one of you. Things are happening on this channel. A lot of the reason I chose the flat that I moved into is so I can have a studio. Keep an eye on it.
It weren't for the Wi-Fi purposes, then, no?
No. For the Wi-Fi. Let's not have it right. But yeah, so big things are happening. So the best way of doing that to keep on my journey is subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll bring shows to you all the time. I promise you. I'm going to come back to you probably Friday night, maybe Saturday morning after I've cried into my pillow from the night before, and bring you a review.
You're going to the gaming,
because it's true.
Yeah,
you're going to the gaming, you Sig and Lee.
Oh yeah, shit, yeah, you're going, isn't you, Chris? No,
I know. You guys are.
No.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah. All right.
Okay, well, yeah, you're not going to the game, Chris.
You're not going to the game, man.
I just thought. No. I don't lie to these people. They'll know what I'm about at the game. So, anyway, let us stop rabbiting. Let's leave these people to their Thursday nights. Take care, people.
Salute.
Peace.
Wenger out.
Dog